the real question about the winding up petition is, to what extent are the mainland authorities going to recognize what was decided in the Hong Kong courts? And if they were to recognize what the Hong Kong court decided, I think that could lead to some anxiety onshore about the fact that some of these domestic assets that for a long time people have assumed foreign investors would not be able to get their hands on would suddenly, there would be claims that foreign investors would have on these that would be valid in the court. So the consensus is that's not what is going to happen, but that's the real unknown at this point, is how are mainland courts going to treat this winding up petition, and are foreigners going to be able to make any claims on the domestic assets or not?
So let me ask you then, the key question is, you're saying, look, this could be a precedent-setting case, and you're saying that the consensus is that China, the authorities in China, are not going to accept this ruling. What do you think, though?
I tend to think no as well, because it would upset the apple cart onshore. There's no question about that, given how many defaults have occurred. The vast majority of defaults have occurred offshore. There usually are not cross-default clauses that mean that these defaults offshore have to be recognized onshore. And so a lot of the problems that we've seen in China's property market with all of these defaults have actually not spilled over into any domestic financial instability. That could change if the authorities were to start recognizing that foreign investors had valid claims on some of the domestic assets, that they would then have to be unwound and sold. Now, Evergrande, there's only a few entities at the moment who have received winding up petitions. So out of the more than 50 companies who've defaulted, by no means do we have 50 companies that are out there with winding up petitions. But still, because this could set precedent, I think it could create volatility in the local market if the courts were to rule in Hong Kong's favor. But this is exactly why I would think, in this environment where authorities are trying to maintain confidence and stability, they don't want that. In all likelihood, they're not going to recognize what the Hong Kong court has just said overnight.